Hi everyone, I'm Akshat Agrawal, and in today's video, we are going to discuss the concept of order of execution in SQL, right? So, for example, let's say this is the table which I'm going to use for today's demo. This table has a column called class, subject, student, and their respective marks, right? So, let us quickly analyze such a question. Find the students from class 1 and class 2 whose total marks is greater than or equal to 200, right? So for this question, as we have already discussed in my previous video about group by and having and where clause, so this will be the query, right? So I want to see the select student, then the total marks of those students from this table, where class in class 1 and class 2, because it is being clearly asked from class 1 and class 2 only. Then I need to group by because I'm using aggregate function sum, right? Group by student. Having sum of marks is greater than equal to 200 because after aggregating the data, we need to see whose total marks is greater than or equal to 200 only, right? And then I'm optionally using order by clause, right? So order of execution in SQL. Okay, so there are two things. The way in which we write these keywords, like select is written first, then from, then where, then group by, then having and others. This is very much different as when we see about order of execution, right? So this is the order in which we write SQL query, but there is another order of execution in which SQL executes these keywords in the backend, right? So let us logically think, if we are a database and any query is fired to us, the first thing which we will do is to see which table the data is needed from, right? So the very first thing which executes in this query, it will be from keyword, right? Or if there is any join also, then join will also be executed after it, because the very first thing which the database needs to decide is which table we need data from, right? Think it logically. We do not need to cram, but yeah, we need to understand logically. So the first thing which is executed is from clause. Then let's say in a table there are millions of records. So we will never like to filter, query on all the records. We need to filter the data, right? If there is any use. So for example, there was clear filter for class 1 and class 2 only. So the second thing which will execute in this query will be where clause, right? So the first thing which we decided is which table do we need data from? Then what data do we need from? Filter the data, right? So that our query executes only on those particular records. After that, we need to check whether there is any aggregate function used. If yes, then we need to execute the group by, right? So in this query, we have used sum of marks. Then we need to use group by student, right? So then after from where and then group by is executed. After group by, if we have to use any filter over aggregate functions, right? For example, here it was clearly asked whose total marks is greater than or equal to 200. Then we need to use having clause, right? So after group by, having is executed, and after having is executed, the select statement is executed, right? Then after all of these operations, the data it will be printed. The data required data will be printed on the console, and as the data is printed, we need to sort the data if it is needed. So if let's say if I want to sort the data by sum of marks, or else if I want to sort the data on based on student names, right? So that is how a SQL query executes. Okay. So now let us quickly see a few things. For example, as I said that after having select clause is executed, select keyword is executed. So let me prove it. So in this select statement, we have used a column student. Then we are using sum of marks and giving it as alias total marks, right? So let's say if I use instead of sum of marks in having clause, if I use total marks. So if select statement is executed before having, then this column must be created and this query, this filter should work. But as you clearly say that it is already showing an error. Why? Because having clause is executed first, after that select is executed. So when I say having total marks is greater than equal to 200, it is confused that which column are we talking about, because there is no column called total marks, right? So we have to use sum of marks only, because having clause is executed before select statement, right? So it is very important. This topic is actually very important as per interviews perspective, and also to understand a complex query, to write a complex query, and to manipulate a query in order to get the desired output. Because if we are able to understand or debug how a SQL query is being executed in the backend, it's very helpful for us, right? So this is logical explanation. I'll share this script in the description. You can definitely copy and practice at your end, right? And let me know in case you have any doubts in the comment section, right? And I'm trying to make more SQL videos. So if you need any topic specifically for yourself, you definitely please let me know so that I can prepare accordingly and get a video on that as well.